Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Today we're talking about how if you love someone else, then you already have the blueprint for loving yourself. So for a lot of us, loving ourselves unconditionally can be a challenge for a variety of reasons. When we're children, we internalize adults' behavior, we get messaging and programming that tells us certain messages about ourselves. We're sold a lot of unrealistic standards to live up to, engage in, and all of that. So there's many, many reasons why, we can have a challenge of loving ourselves unconditionally. Maybe we've gone through traumatic things, we've had unideal experiences, to say the least, right? But so there can be all these reasons. And so when we finally start to realize, okay, what I'm doing has not been working and I don't want to continue on this path anymore, right? But when we start doing that, we might feel like, okay, how do I do this? How can I show up for myself? How do I start loving myself? We can feel emotionally stuck, or these patterns we've been engaging with ourselves, or the way we've been talking to ourselves or interacting with ourselves for so long feels like, okay, well, I can't change that because that's just how I am, or it's just what I've done for so long, right? That we think that there's no other way because we've participated in these certain ways for so long. But the truth is, if you love someone else, if you care about someone else, you have a loving relationship with them, right? Then you already have the blueprint for loving yourself. You just need to practice and shift it onto yourself in the same way that you offer love and care and understanding and compassion for other people. And I know, it might seem like a big jump, but the point of that is for you to see that you're already doing that. It just needs to be turned and applied onto yourself and someone else. And so you can think, okay, if I'm in a situation where I make a mistake and then my self-talk gets really negative, or I feel like I should have known better, or I should have prevented this, or I should have whatever, you can say, like, if one of my friends was in this situation, what would I be telling them? How would I be engaging with them? What would I be communicating to them, instead of, making myself feel like I'm doing something wrong, or, being overly mean or critical to myself, right? A lot of us have compassion and love and care for other people, but it's harder for us to give that to ourselves. And so you can think, okay, how do I show a friend that I care about them? How do I spend time with them? What do we do together? How do I listen to them? How do I see them, right? Not just physically see them, but I see them typically when we love and care about someone, we see them in a very generous way, a very forgiving way, a very compassionate way, a way that lends itself for there to be a lot of space for forgiveness and growing in the relationship. But for some reason, we don't give ourselves that same love and compassion and care and understanding. And again, those reasons are a whole other video. They're things you can explore on your own, things that only you can explore on your own, actually. Like, no one can do that work for you. But when you think about it, what's that list like? And then how do I treat myself, right? Like, so some of us, maybe our inner talk is so negative that we call ourselves names that we would never call a friend, or we judge ourselves so harshly on something that maybe we wouldn't judge someone else about, or we encourage other people to love and accept themselves about certain things that we judge ourselves more harshly on. And so it's understanding, like, okay, I'm already doing this somewhere. So how do I kind of break that pattern or rewrite it to be able to offer that to myself? Right. And so one way to do this, again, is to make a list, right? I like to see my friends, for this is an example, I'm not saying me, but a way I like to see my friends is, for example, with self-compassion, with patience, with understanding, with kindness, with non-judgment, with empathy, with open-mindedness. I listen to them, I'm present with them, right? How often do you do those things with yourself? And so again, thinking about, like, okay, when I hang out with my friend, if they're telling me a story, or someone you love and care about, could be a partner or a child in your life, what do? I give my full attention. I really try to be there. I don't interrupt them. I engage with them. I give them space to be themselves. If they share something with me, I don't immediately call them names. I offer them some love and compassion and non-judgment for them to continue sharing with me and keep engaging with me, right? And so identifying, where's the disconnect in those things? What do I do for that person that I don't do for myself? And how can I shift that? And you don't want to go, I mean, you can, but for most of us, going all the way from here, all the way here is not possible. So how can we just soften it a little bit and move it a little bit, right? So let's say, I call myself, you're such an idiot if I make a mistake. It's like, you're not going to go from you're an idiot to I love you so much, and I have so much compassion for you, and you're perfect and you're amazing, all that stuff, right? We can be like, okay, everyone makes mistakes. That's a little softer, it's a little more neutral. it's not as intense this way. And then you can practice that and build that up to get to the other side, right? And so if you hang out with your friends and you're so interested in their activities and you love hearing what they do and you have shared hobbies, right? What am I interested in? What things do I like learning about or reading about or watching? Or how do I like spending my time? And do I do that with myself? Am I intentional with that, right? Or do I just kind of like zone out, open my social media, watch TV, don't really think about what I'm consuming. I'm just like, it's there, so I'm doing it, right? What are my interests? What do I want to do? Do I want to develop hobbies? Are there things, classes I want to take, or hobbies I want to develop, or group settings I want to go into? It's like what are my interests and how can I engage in those in myself, right? So again, usually with our friends, we have some type of interest, or we're like hearing what they're doing or how their day was or what's going on with that. Another way you can do that with yourself is like journaling, right? Listening to ourselves, just seeing what comes through on the paper, seeing what's going on and checking in and saying, oh, okay, that's interesting that this is coming up for me, or that I feel like this, or, whatever. And really just identifying like, okay, these are the ways that I spend time and give care and love to my friends or people I love and care about. And how can I do that for myself, right? Another thing you can look at is, what emotions is it really easy for me to give myself and which ones are not as much, right? It's really easy for me to give myself criticism or judgment, or maybe, I think I'm funny, but I'm really mean to myself, right? Or I think I'm resourceful, but I don't think I'm this, right? And kind of teasing out the nuance of that, because sometimes we can be, okay at one thing, but not all the way at the other. And for a lot of us, again, it's developing that self-acceptance, especially in specific things about ourselves. That's the hardest part. So it's like we might have a self-acceptance in some areas, but not all of them, right? And so just making that list. And then what emotions or things or values do I not give myself? And how can I slowly start to do that? How can I slowly start to see evidence of that for myself in my life? And if I don't, then what actions and behaviors can I take in order to feel like I'm doing that for myself, in order to feel like, oh no, like changing our self-concept, like I see that's what I'm doing, that's what's going on. And just really, starts with a lot of emotional exploration and a lot of inner work and turning inward and getting clear of just like, okay, if I know how to offer someone else love, compassion, care, and understanding, how can I do that for myself? Where's the disconnect? Where's situations to start to pay attention and start to try to be shown, where situations where I am a little more judgmental and critical of myself, but maybe I wouldn't be for my friend, right? Or I tell my friend to love and accept this thing about themselves, but I don't love and accept it about myself, even though it's the same thing, right? It's just the block because it's about me. And so if you go through this process, this is a lifelong process, and more things come up as we deal with more and more situations that are unideal, things we don't want to look at, things we don't want to do. And so it's about being patient with ourselves. It's about remembering it's going to take time and practice to shift these thoughts, to offer ourselves love and care and compassion. And we can spend a whole lifetime getting to love and care for ourselves and know what we think and know what we like and what our hobbies are. Like we can spend a whole lifetime getting to know ourselves. And so having patience with that, knowing that we won't get it perfect right away, but remember, it's about knowing that we can turn that love and care and compassion onto ourselves, and we can offer ourselves, some that can come with practice. And it's just taking one little, if it's something we've done 20 million times, being judgmental, it's going to take a few times to like balance that out. It's not going to take as much, right? But if it doesn't feel natural, it doesn't feel right, like that's where you can push it to maybe just being like, okay, how can I offer just a little bit of love and compassion to myself? How can I offer myself just a little bit of love and care, right? And just remembering it's never too late to having a loving relationship with yourself. It's never too late to start to be kind to yourself, to be understanding, to want to get to know yourself deeper or more than what you have been, being patient with yourself, offering yourself grace and compassion. It's never too late to do that, and you can do it in a new and different way if you want. And yeah, just holding space for that and honoring that. And knowing that it will take time, but all great relationships are worth it, right? And they don't just appear out of thin air. They take time and energy and work and effort. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.